Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 63 of the Spearhead Sundays podcast, which hasn't been happening on Sunday for a very long time. But the tour is almost over, and then we'll be back to our fucking regular scheduled programming, and I'll be back all over the podcast on time, and I'll be back on the fucking videos. Yeah, I know, I did promise you last week that I was not going to miss another episode, and then what did I do? Well, I missed another episode, and then I was late with the next one, so... I'm just never going to promise anyone anything ever again, really, because you know what? I'm fucking sick of being considerate anyway. Have you ever thought about how great your life would be if you just gave up on manners? Like, not anybody else's life. Like, it would definitely negatively impact the lives of other people around you. But do you ever just stop and think how great your life would be? Like, just your life, nobody else's. If you just stopped worrying about being rude, right? Oh, there's the last piece of cake. Probably should ask if anybody else wants some. I've already had 2 pieces. Everybody else has had half of one. Fuck it. I'm going to have another piece. Right? Just that little fucking thing is already improved your life dramatically. Oh, gee. I probably should wait before I get on the elevator. I should wait until other people come out instead of just getting on first. Fuck that. I'm done being considerate. What if you just got on straight away and you made everybody else move around you? Could you imagine how good your fucking life would be with, instead of, you know, when you walk past a salesperson on the street and they're like, hey, do you have 5 minutes to chat about fucking bullshit phone plans? Instead of going, no thank you, you just went, fuck off. Like, how much would that improve your life? Like, just those 3 scenarios. I can think of so many more, and already I'm going, man, this anti-considerate way, I think it's the way to go. I honestly think it's the way to go, because you know what? I'm done. I'm sick of manners. Manners have gone too far, really, when you think about it. I'm way too polite to people. Way too polite. Like, to their face, I'll be overly polite, and then I'll get through that fucking interaction, and I'll be like, why was I that nice to that person? Why would I didn't want to do that. Right? Why did I do that? Dude, I remember one time I went to this was a couple years ago. I went into a public bathroom. No, it wasn't a public bathroom. When I had a job, when I was working in a call center, right? I went into the bathroom. It was my break. I went into the bathroom, and I didn't need to shit, right? I just wanted to urinate, right? So I come in, and I stepped into the room, and there was this one co-worker who walked out of the cubicle, and he had clearly devastated the toilet bowl, right? The stench was worse than Shrek's fucking swamp, right? It smelled like the Black Plague in there. And he comes out of the cubicle, and there's only one fucking shitter, right? There is a urinal that I'm planning on using, but there's only one shitter. He comes out of the toilet, and he goes, oh, sorry, bro, you know... like he apologized for shitting, basically. And I didn't want to embarrass him. Like, I was so polite. My manners have gone so far that I didn't want him to feel embarrassed. So I said, that's all right, man. And then I stepped past him, and I stepped into the cubicle that he had destroyed to spare his feelings, and I didn't even need to shit. I just stood there, and I pissed in the fucking toilet, trying not to vomit as well. That's like, manners have gone too far, man. That's just way too polite. What I should have done, if I was really done with being considerate, is I would have gone, you are a fucking animal. You should shit in the street like a dog. You fucking filthy human. Fix your diet. I don't know what you're eating, but I can smell that it's not good for you. Right? You need to fix your diet and stop treating your body like a fucking trash bin, because I don't want to deal with your shitty fucking poos. That's what I should have said to him, but instead I pretended that it wasn't an issue, and then I used the cubicle. I'm probably being too loud. Sorry, I can't really be this loud in this podcast. Normally I'd be screaming, but I'm in an apartment at the moment in Brisbane, and I tell you what, I can hear everybody else, so I know they can fucking hear me. So I'm going to be a little bit quieter for the rest of the podcast. I do apologize for that, but it's just, you know, you got to do what you got to do, you know, on this fucking tour life. You can only find specific times to record, and when you can record, you got to be fucking quiet because there's a baby next door. And you know what? That's another thing that I'm sick of being considerate, is someone else's kid. I haven't even met the fucking neighbours. I don't know who their kid is. I don't know them. I don't know anything about them. They could be fucking neo-Nazis, but for some reason, I'm being considerate of their child. I shut the door and it started crying. My front door. I shut my front door and their baby started crying. So now I've started shutting it quietly, and it's inconvenienced me by like half a second every day. I shut the door quietly, and if I didn't give a fuck about that, my life would be half a second easier. And it doesn't sound like much when you talk about the single instances of you being considerate, but I tell you what, you add it up and you start being a cunt all day, every day, your life would improve so much. And fuck everybody else, because if you're not being considerate, it doesn't matter if you have no mates, because you're living the best life ever. Cheat on your wife, fuck her, who cares? You know what I mean? Steal from your workplace, fuck them, who cares? You'll buy yourself a nice hat, right? Then go to the strip club with your new girlfriend while your wife is at home, who cares, right? You're living your best life. I'm just sick of being considerate. You know what, this is when I'm going to reach cunt mode, is when I'm like 80. Not even 80, man. 80's too old to reach cunt mode. I reckon like 60. That's when a man can really dig deep and become a fucking asshole. Like, you can just be that guy, and it's okay, because that's just fucking Lewis. You know, that's old man Lewis. He's just a bit of an asshole. You know, just be wary of him. Throw eggs at his house, but other than that, fucking avoid him. See, women can do it earlier. Women can really do it when they're 40, right? When they're 40, they're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to be a cunt, and I'm just going to start doing the dirtiest things I can conceive in the bedroom. That's what women do. And then men hit 50 and they've missed that phase, and they're like, shit, my dick doesn't work. I guess I'm going to be a hardcore racist. Get out of me fucking country. That's the difference between men and women. And I think that's why I'm 23. I reckon at 24, I'm just going to hit cunt mode. I might not do the racist thing, but you better believe I am not going to hold the door for any fucking person anymore. I'm sick of that. You don't even get a thank you. It's not even worth it. Right? Because the thing is, when you're a considerate person, you're never around other considerate people, because they're just on a different floor being treated like a carpet by all of the other fucking cunts out there living their best life and being assholes to the considerate people. And I'm done. I'm joining the cunt club. Guys, I'm announcing on this podcast, I'm done being nice. I'm joining the fucking cunt club. Dude, you know what I saw in the street today? I saw a fucking poster, right? A poster advertising anarchy, right? Like the political movement anarchy, which from what I understand is a very individual movement, right? Anarchy is the idea that we shouldn't have leaders, we shouldn't have laws, we shouldn't have big corporations. Everyone should just be an individual, and we should all just steal shit and do whatever we want, right? Fuck the law, fuck the government, fuck everything, live your own life, which is really this cunt mode that I'm talking about, right? You just walk around with a big fucking A on your chest, and you got a denim vest on, and you just king hit Asians in the street. That to me is fucking the anarchist way of life, right? And I saw a poster talking about how we all need to go anarchist. You know those fucking political posters that you see, and you're like, dude, somebody put those up. Somebody believes in this bullshit enough to fucking hang these posters up on fire hydrants, and everybody else reads them and goes, that's fucking bullshit. Like, there's a person out there who's spent like $300 of his own money while he works in a fucking cafe on minimum wage so he can afford his shitty fucking enamel badges to pin to his shit fucking denim vest, right? And he's spent his money that he would normally spend on smoking weed and drinking goon on these fucking posters to encourage other people to become anarchists. And on the poster, it was like, it had rules, okay? It had rules for what anarchy is. And it was, fuck bosses, fuck bosses. I'm all for that. Fuck the government. Well, no, I'm not for that at all, right? The government serves a very fucking useful purpose. You know the road that you use to drive your car down the street? Who the fuck built that? You didn't build that, did you? All right, your neighbour didn't build it. The fucking government built it because nobody wants to build a fucking road, but everybody needs one. All right, so the government fucking did that. Sure, they do some fucked up shit all the time, but on the base level, we need somebody building the shit that nobody else wants to build and looking after the fucking disabled and old people that nobody wants to look after, all right? So that was there. They're like, fuck the government. And then they had other things like they had fuck big business, and then they had fuck medicine. They had fuck medicine. And then under that, they had teach yourself medicine, teach yourself to heal others, steal things, build your own shit, and organize. And I was looking at this shit and I was like, wow, this is a poster advertising anarchy, and they have a list of rules. It's like, these are the rules on how to become an anarchist. Oh, really? Poster that tells me how I should be an anarchist. Who decided on these rules? Was it the leader of the anarchy club? And they had their own fucking website, and they had meetings that they go to talk about anarchy. And it's like, if you're having a fucking meeting to discuss how to promote anarchy, you've already lost. That'd be like communists fucking selling shit. Right? Starting up a business to fund their fucking communism. It's like, that's the exact opposite of what you're doing. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like atheists starting a religion. It's the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. It's the fucking dumbest shit. Buy some shampoo and use it, you fucking dreadlocked loser. I bet you carry a switchblade that you don't even use, and you think that you might use it one day, you fucking nerd. Take the black nail polish off your left hand and fucking shove it up your ass. I'm just... Those anarchists and those fucking... the communist fucking thing here is just so retarded. It's like, yeah, sure, the communist thing, that's a great idea in theory, but we're fucking... Humans are shit, alright? Because what I was talking about about how I don't want to be considerate, I tell you what, all of the people running the world, they're not the considerate people. So if you start the fucking communist regime going, all of the people at the top of that are going to be the unconsiderate people, and then your whole idea is fucked. All right, capitalism is pretty bullshit as well, but it's the best thing we've come up with so far, and it's proven to be the best. So don't fucking take your posters and fuck off. Working in your cafe, talking about how you're going to be an anarchist. Look, good on you, mate, but I guarantee you, if I offered you $30 an hour, you'd consider wearing a suit to work. Dude, did you see that Antifa girl that got punched in the face? That was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Those Antifa, hilarious. Those anti-fascist people in America. You know what? I've decided anyone who's a part of a group is a fucking loser. Whether it's a religion or a political organization. The moment you join a group and you go to meetings and you go to rallies, you're a fucking wanker. It's just... Those anti-fascist people, I understand what they're about. Oh, fuck fascism, fuck racism. But what we're going to do is go to other people's protests and punch them in the face. It's like, that's exactly what fascism is. And when I saw that dreadlocked woman getting decked in the face by some neo-Nazi looking dude, I was just like, all is right with the world. And it was quite interesting how... You know what? That whole protest, both sides of that protest was fucking dumb, right? That Berkeley riot, or whatever the fuck it was, the Berkeley rally. So all of these Donald Trump supporters, basically what they did was they went to a left-leaning city, and they were like, oh, you know what we're going to do? Because all of our political rallies get fucking... crashed by the left side of things, what we're going to do is we're going to hold a free speech rally right in the center of a fucking leftist city. And then what did you think was going to happen, all right? That protest that they were holding, that rally, it wasn't a fucking rally. That whole thing was, oi, let's get 300 people in the town square and piss everybody else off in the city and dare them to punch us. And you know what happened? They fucking got punched. What a surprise. Both sides of that fucking rally was stupid. stupid. Anyone who was going there to like fucking piss off people who disagreed with them were like, oh yeah, it's a free speech rally. No, it's not. Don't pretend it's a free speech rally. You know what you were doing. You were there so that you got punched. Dude, people were rocking up wearing armor and carrying weapons because they knew what was going to happen. They knew all of these other fucking losers were going to come and show up and throw bottles at them, and then they would retaliate with bigger force, and they'd be like, oh, he started it, miss. It's retarded. That'd be like me carrying a baseball bat into a fucking school and then fucking insulting one guy so much that he ends up punching me, and then I pull out the bat and go hit him in the face and go, oh, he started it, man. It was stupid. And then those fucking smelly Antifa people showed up wearing masks and with their flags, wearing all black and red with their fucking mottos scrawled all over them. And you know they smell like shit. You know that's the smelliest fucking rally you've ever been to. And that's like even smellier than a fucking 420 rally. Right, so all those fucking losers start showing up, throwing bottles at the Donald Trump free speech rally. And then it ended up just turning into a massive fucking riot, and nobody achieved anything. Everybody on the left were like, oh, they showed up trying to cause trouble. They're just racist Donald Trump supporters. And then everybody on the right were like, oh, see, they were trying to limit our free speech. We came with the intention to piss them off, and then they got pissed off. It's like both sides of that were fucking stupid. If you know what, if the left side if the Antifa people really wanted to make a point, they would have just not showed up and let the other people do their free speech rally in peace, and then they would have just gone, oh, well, shit, I guess Berkeley is a place for free speech after all. We look kind of silly. That would have been the best way to handle it, is just fucking ignore them. Dude, that's the best way to handle any protest ever, is just let them do it and fucking ignore them, because there's nothing that a group hates more than not being persecuted. That's all they want. That's all those Antifa people want. They want everyone to hate them, and then they go, yeah, we're right because we're hated. We're disrupting the system. All these fucking free speech nerds, all they wanted was people to come and just disrupt them just to prove their point. It was the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. And then watching that video of that woman getting punched in the face, I was like, when you see the 10-second clip of her getting hit in the face, even I was like, oh, that looks a bit rough. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to reserve judgment on this, and I'm going to wait and see what actually happened. And the fucking bitch was throwing bottles. She was throwing bottles. She showed up with the Antifa people. She was wearing a mask the whole time, being violent, and she got punched in the face. And it's like, you know what? That's what you get. You should wear a fucking mask to a protest. I don't even understand how that's legal, wearing a mask. There's no reason to wear a mask to a protest unless you're going to be violent. I'm talking like now, like in places like America and Australia where we have free speech and the right to assembly. If you're living in a dictatorship where if you go protest and then they'll come pick you up in a helicopter and you'll never come back, sure, mask the fuck up. But if you're living in America and Australia where you're allowed to do that shit as long as you're not violent, wearing a mask makes you an idiot. And besides any of that fucking anarchy shit, who's gonna make you a shitty fucking phone that you can't stop tweeting about how you're going to break the government on? It's like, dude, if you have a phone, the government knows your plans. They know where you live, right? They know where your grandma's basement is. They know where you get your shitty posters printed. All they would have to do to stop your fucking business is to go shoot up that poster printing place, and then your whole rally is fucked. Oh, man, who's going to make a computer? Speaking of fucking computers, I had to go and get another fucking laptop charger from the Apple cunt store, and I couldn't every time I go into that place I lose my mind and you know what, every time I go into that place I'm just going to pull a 180. Every time I go in there I just want to bring about a state of anarchy. That place is like a fucking church for capitalist bullshit of people looking at shit that they don't need and getting ripped off for it and then going thank you. And I was in there, and you can't just go in and then leave. It's impossible, right? You go into that fucking big Apple church, and there's 40 fucking enthusiastic blue shirt cunts in there, and they all think they're God's gift because they're selling you a $3,000 piece of plastic that you can call your mum on. And then you can't find anybody to help you because they're all talking to the fucking 15-year-olds who aren't going to buy anything. They just want to take selfies of themselves on the iPhones and then set it as a background because they're fucking juvenile retards. And then then the other half of the store is filled with 40-year-old people who are buying shit they'll never understand. They're just buying it because they're bored of their life. And they're like, I'll just buy something expensive. That'll make me feel better about my wife. Because she doesn't suck me anymore. And it's... And it just makes me so fucking angry. And then I get there and all I wanted, right? I broke my laptop charger. Again, because the cord fucking frayed, which happens way too often. So I go in there and I find the fucking charger that I need, and this blue shirt cunt comes up to me and he starts talking to me, and he was really nice, but I don't want you to be nice. I just want you to sell me the thing and I can get the fuck out of there. He starts asking me all these questions. What kind of laptop do you have? Blah, blah, blah. What are you using it for? Fuck off. I don't care. I picked it up off the shelf. I know what I came in for. Just give me this and then I'll fucking leave. And then he gets it out and he tells me that it's $130 for a fucking charger. $130, and you know what? Nobody else makes it because Apple is so fucking evil that they're like, you know what? Let's make a charger and then patent it and then make sure that nobody else can make it, and then we can charge $130 for ours, which breaks every 3 fucking months. So I'm fuming at the amount of money that I gotta fucking pay for this charger. And then the dude, I'm like, yeah, whatever, cool. Is that the only place I can get it? He's like, yeah, sorry, man. Even he knows it's a ripoff. I'm like, sweet, just let me buy the fucking charger so I can get out of this blue shirt cunt hellhole. And then he gets out his electronic FPOS machine that's attached to an iPhone because, of course, they couldn't just have regular fucking cashiers. They wanted to have bullshit crap technology that is connected to their iPhone because, see, iPhones can be used for anything. Look at it. Look at this silhouette dancing across a blue background while I listen to an iPod. We're so trendy. Ha ha ha. 11-year-olds don't make our iPhones in fucking sweatshops. We're cool. And it's like... And I'm just getting pissed off. And then he's wearing it on a belt because of course he is. You know, they can't just fucking put their shitty FPOS iPhone hybrid on a desk. He has to wear it on a belt like some Asian tourist. And then he pulls it off the belt and he fucking breaks it. Even their own technology doesn't fucking work for them. And he snaps off this big piece of plastic as he pulls it out of his shitty belt. And then he goes, oh shit. I'm like, oh, did you break that, man? He goes, yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, that's all right. It just looked like the clip. Surely it'll still work. No, it's fucked, right? So now this blue shirt cunt has to go talk to another blue shirt cunt, and not even he can find one, and he fucking works there. And then he gets his other FPOS iPhone monstrosity hybrid thing, and then I pay for my thing, and then it takes me 3 hours to get from one end of the store to the fucking exit because there's absolutely just stupid people in there with no spatial awareness. I finally get out of the fucking store. We go home. I unbox it. And then I'm like, right, this is the third charger that I've had in my life. This is not supposed to happen. Surely I'm doing something wrong. So when I look up on YouTube I looked up like Apple Mac charger. And the first result is how to stop your Apple Mac charger from fraying and breaking at the ends. And this is the exact same ends where mine frayed. And I was just like, dude, if you're spending $130 on something, the top result should never be how to stop it from breaking. It's like, that's just ridiculous. It didn't even come up with tutorials or reviews. It was how to stop this piece of shit product from breaking. It's like, I paid $130 for this. How is this the top result? So I watching this tutorial, and I turn it on, and of course it's this fuckhead with this some technology show. Hey, it's Damo from Who Gives a Fuck TV. Today I'm going to show you how to fucking prevent your charger from breaking. But first I want to thank all of my loyal viewers and subscribers. And it's like, dude, shut up. Alright, you run a fucking tech channel. Nobody gives a fuck about you. You're a nerd. Alright, nobody cared about you in high school. Nobody cares about you on YouTube. Just show me how to stop my fucking charger from breaking. And then he gets out. I skip forward like 2 minutes and finally he gets into it. I'm like, finally, all right, sweet. Okay, we're at the part where I can fix this fucking problem. And what he does is actually genius. He gets out, anybody who has a Mac charger or even an Apple phone charger, this will also work, right? He gets out a pen, like those clicky pens, and he just opens it up and he gets out that little spring that moves the pen back and forth and makes sure it stays down. And he pulls the spring out and then he wraps the spring around the end of the charger, and that stops it from bending at all when it's in use or when you've wrapped it away. And I did the same thing, and it's great. So now the end of my charger doesn't bend at all, so then there's no way for it to fray, which is just the dumbest fucking thing. Is like the only way to stop your Apple charger from breaking is to not let it be used in the way that it would normally be used. Like normal fucking wear and tear destroys this thing. But whatever, I'm over it. I'm not over it at all. But, you know, I want to talk about some shit. That was a 25-minute rant on fucking all of the shit that pissed me off in the last 2 weeks. I need to start meditating, man. I'm getting too angry. Even my girlfriend is like, yeah, you're getting too angry. I would like you to start doing yoga. And it's... I'm like, I'm enjoying getting this angry. It makes the podcast better. Dude, I raged so hard on last week's episode that I finished it and I was like, I'm exhausted. I was so angry that I was exhausted. And then everyone emails me and goes, that was the best podcast you've done for the past couple of months. And I'm like, well, fuck. You guys are enabling me. That'd be like if I was addicted to meth, but I was also a professional chess player, and I just stopped doing meth, but then right before the Grand Champions, I had a fucking toke, I had a bit of a pip, and then I won. I'd be like, well, shit, I got to keep doing this if I want to be the best at chess. But yeah, quickly, I just wanted to thank everybody who came to the Melbourne shows. They were incredible, man. That's the first time I've ever done a theatre, like a real theatre. I did a 2-tiered theatre. There was like 200 people down the bottom, 100 and something up the top, and it was just fucking crazy. It was this massive, big, beautiful stage. I had curtains that opened when I walked on stage, and it was just the most amazing thing, and I was just so incredibly grateful that I got to do that 4 nights in a row. Like 4 times in a row with 300 people is just insane, and it's the most people that I've ever performed to in my life. And my Melbourne hometowns are always great and very supportive, so I just wanted to thank everybody from Melbourne who came out to the shows. It was just the most incredible experience, and that was a big goal of mine, to perform in a real proper theatre, and that's probably the first time I've really done that. And so thank you to everybody who came out. It was just absolutely crazy shows. I really, really appreciate it. And also everybody who came to Brisbane and Sydney. Brisbane was the best show I've ever done in my life. Straight up, it was absolutely the best show that I've ever done. I performed for an hour and 10 minutes, which was another goal of mine, to perform for over an hour, because I remember watching comedians even last year who would perform for an hour or a little bit over an hour 10, hour and a half, and I'll be like, how the fuck can you hold the crowd's attention for over an hour? That's the most impressive thing. And then in Brisbane and in Sydney as well, I also did that, and it was just, I just felt really, really happy. And you know, Brisbane sold out, and Brisbane is one of my favourite places to perform because the crowds are just so loud. Like the noise that even my opening act got. Normally the opening act, it takes a bit of time for people to warm up to them because that's not who they came there to see. But even just the noise that the opening act walked onto, I was like, holy fuck, Brisbane is insane. My opening act is this guy called James. He's actually a street magician. He's a busker, and it's quite an interesting story of how I met him. He's the first time I came to Brisbane, I only sold 17 tickets. I didn't know any fucking comedians at all. And one day I was, just before the show, I was walking through the city, and there was this hilarious magician busking, and he was telling all of these jokes while he was doing all these tricks, and he was a little bit dark and a little bit dirty, and I was like, oh, okay, this guy could be good. So I just asked him, I was like, oh, if you're doing anything tonight, I would love an opener for my show. And he got there and he just fucking slayed it. So I thought, but there were only 17 people there. So I've always thought, you know, when I come to Brisbane and I've finally got a big audience, I would love to get him back and actually pay him some money and actually get him to do it in front of a real crowd. And, you know, a couple nights ago, that was that time. So I texted him out of the blue. I was like, I don't know if this is still your number. I hadn't talked to him for 2 years. I was like, I don't know if this is still your number. I don't know if you still do this, but I would love for you to come back and open for me. And he was just so on board and such a positive energy to have backstage. He was real grateful and he was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. 300 people. This is great. And then he got up there and he just fucking destroyed. Like, he really, really crushed it. And I was so happy to have him. And the love that Brisbane gave him was amazing. And you know what? It's just cool to have a fucking magician at your show. That's actually funny as well. So it was really, really great to have. And Brisbane was just one of the best shows I've ever done in my life because... you know, I don't know, my crowd work was really good, and I'm really locked into the show where I know all of my material back to front now, so I can do a joke, and if I see somebody in the crowd, I can stop doing the joke and fuck around with them and then come back to it, you know, pay out a heckler, come back to it, and Brisbane's great for that because they're very, very loud. And I got to the end of the show, I did an hour and 10 minutes on stage, and I was just so fucking happy with the show, and I knew that I really did it well, and I finished the show, and I said, thank you very much for coming. I did my wrap up, we played the music, and then 300 people stood up. They all stood up out of their chairs, and they all gave me a standing ovation, and I couldn't fucking believe it. I cried like a little boy. I wasn't expecting it at all. I've never even thought that I was good enough for a standing ovation, and I don't know, I was so shocked, and so I just wasn't expecting it at all. And I finished the show and I was like, oh, that was a great show, goodbye, good night. And then 300 people just stood up out of their chairs and applauded, and I was so overwhelmed with emotion that I just started crying on stage. And I wanted to thank Brisbane very, very much for that show. It was fucking magic. It's the first I wasn't even expecting to get. It wasn't even a goal of mine to get a standing ovation, and it happened in Brisbane for the first time when I wasn't expecting it. I knew it was a good performance, but that was just incredible. I'll remember that forever. That moment, and of me thinking that the show was over and getting the normal amount of cheering and applause, and then just seeing all those people stand up, and you know what, I think towards the end of the standing ovation, when I got off stage and when I walked through the crowd to go to where I would meet everybody afterwards, I just kind of realized that fuck, I deserved that. Not in an arrogant way, but in the way of like, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, I don't understand how this has happened. This is fucking amazing. And then I just looked back on how I nailed all of my delivery and how I was with the crowd work. And I was like, nah, I actually deserved it. They didn't give it to me because they liked my videos. It wasn't given to me because, you know, friends in the audience stood up and started it and then people did it not to seem rude. It was like, I deserved it in the way that the people in the audience, they wanted to do that for me. And I fucking, all the way out, I just cried. It was fucking incredible. And it was just this moment where I was like, shit, I think I'm going to make it. Just all at once, all of these feelings of me being proud of myself and the show, and appreciation for everybody who came and everyone who supports me. And it was just this moment of, I'm doing the right thing with my life. And I really wanted to thank Brisbane very, very much. That's one of the best memories I've ever had in my I've ever experienced. One of the best things I've ever experienced in my life, and I'm going to remember that forever. So thank you very much to every single person in Brisbane, and also everyone who came to Sydney as well. That was also a brilliant show, and to my surprise, everybody stood up again. I don't know if it was because I posted on Instagram about it. about the ovation that happened in Brisbane. I think that may have had a little bit to do with it, where people thought, oh, okay, we can do this for Lewis. That's cool. And that happened. But, or maybe I deserved it. I don't know. But for it to happen 2 nights in a row is the most magical thing. And I couldn't ask for anything more. This tour has been the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. And I appreciate everybody who's come through. Okay, now, before I get too fucking emotional, I'm going to have a little break. I'm going to have a break for a minute, and I'm going to collect myself, and then I'm going to come back and we'll do miscellaneous bit at the end. Now would be a great time to turn off the podcast and kill yourself. Okay, I'm back. All right, so the first email... we've got 2 emails for tonight. We've got a new one, and then we have an update from last week's episode. So, hey Lewis, call me George. Before I start, I want to say I'm a huge fan of your shit, blah, blah, blah. I hope you blow up all over the world so that everyone will want to kill themselves over miscellaneous bit at the end. The world needs a population cult anyway. All right, me too, mate. The story goes, I started dating this girl, call her whatever you want. I'll call her Sarah. About 3 months into the relationship, I found out that she already had a boyfriend before me that she was still with, and she was cheating on him with me. Oh, that's fucked. The situation got worse when some unsavory photos of her got leaked from my phone to all of my friends. And beyond, when some cunt took my phone and texted them everywhere. Oh, okay, so you didn't share them. I find that hard to believe, man. How does someone else get into your phone and share all your photos? Well, whatever. For the purposes of this email, I'm going to say that you're telling the truth. So someone got into your phone and sent nudes to your friends. She found out and is angry with me, but I haven't told her that I know she's cheating. Should I tell her other boyfriend or tell her and her other boy... Or should I tell her other boyfriend or tell her? Or, okay, so should I tell her boyfriend that she's cheating on him, or should I tell her that I know she has a boyfriend? Because she thinks you don't know. Okay. Her and her other boyfriend could also be in an open relationship, but I don't know. The easiest solution is death, and I've already planned out my exit by listening to all 60-something episodes of the podcast. Anyway, what should I do? In all seriousness, keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Have a shit one. That's a hard one. So, look, okay. I've always thought that if this happened to me, I would tell the boyfriend, because honestly, if it was happening to me, that is something that I would want to know. I would do it. This is how I would do it. If you were to tell a boyfriend, I think that you should tell him. I don't think that you should contact him. I don't think you should see him in person because he could be a fucking psycho. I don't think you should do any of that. But I think that what you should do is find his email or find his Facebook account and send him from a fake account proof that she's cheating on him and say, hey, I found out about this and I thought you should know. Because that is how I would want to find out, if I'm being honest. And you should fucking drop this girl. It's horrible that one of your friends leaked her nudes. I don't know if that's true, but if that is true and it was one of your friends, first you're going to find out who that was and cut that person out of your life. And then I think you need to get rid of the girl because she was lying to you. Because, dude, if you think about it, essentially, she was also cheating on you, right? Because she was with you. You thought you were exclusive, but she was with another person. So really, she's cheating on both of you. Honestly, man, if I was the boyfriend, I don't know if this is the right thing for you to do, but if I was putting myself in that other guy's shoes, I would want to know. So I would, if I was you, I would tell him. If I'm being honest, I would figure out a way to do it anonymously. I would figure out a way to do it with the least contact with him as possible. And I would send him evidence that was happening. I would say, sorry, but I thought you should know, something like that. And if you can't do that, I would just say, hey, I found out about your boyfriend. I'm not into that. Sorry that happened to you, but you're also cheating on me, so get the fuck out of my life. Yeah, you don't need this chick in your life, bro. Way too much stress. And even if they are in an open relationship, is that what you want to be involved with? Do you want to be like the second best? Do you want to be the secondary relationship? Fuck that, man. This girl sounds like a shit person. You don't need her in your life. Yeah, that's all. That's very short advice. I would, if you want to be a good person, I would tell the boyfriend and then dump her. If you just want to be done with it, just fucking get her out of your life and move on, bro. Fuck that. All right, second question I got. This is an update from last week's. This is the girl that had a dream about feeding me Polish sausage, and then talked about how she and her boyfriend isn't having sex for years and years. Okay. Hi Lewis, it's Samantha. First off, thanks for the advice, and here's the backstory you requested. My boyfriend and I got together when I was 16 and he was 19. We were in a long-distance relationship for 9 years while we were both at university and only seeing each other for a few days every month or two. We spoke on the phone every day, and when we did get together, the sex was great. He came to stay with me at my parents' house nearly 2 years ago after I had emergency surgery, which has left me with a huge scar on my stomach. He was great through the recovery, and it didn't seem to put him off sex, although I was more self-conscious. I moved with him to England from Scotland in January last year, and we got our own house. He was happy at work, I found a job quickly, and we settled in well. I got some of my confidence back, and that's when he started pulling away. He was fairly fat when I met him, and he'd lost some weight, but he's gained a lot of it back now. I'm still attracted to him, and he knows that, but I can tell he's not happy with how he looks. I cook healthily, and I've asked him to keep me company when I go to the gym, but he never sticks to it. He lost his job in November, and we moved back with my parents because I couldn't afford the rent on my own. I went back to my old job while he tried to find work. I've been paying for both of us, and I think he struggles a bit with that. He has signs of depression and, if I'm honest, alcoholism, but no matter how I try to broach either subject, he either ignores me or storms off. I've tried to be as patient and supportive as I can. I understand what depression is like as I've been there myself. I'm also an oncology nurse, so I've helped try to talk other people through it. He just refuses to seek or accept any help, so I'm reaching my final straw. So really, no sex is the least of our problems. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because if you didn't hear the last podcast, basically, Samantha has not been having sex with her boyfriend for years. And I was like, well, that sounds like a much bigger issue than just sex. There's probably something else going on there. The email goes on to say, he went back to England 3 weeks ago to start another job related to his degree, and it looks like his mood is lifting. I think he's cut down on what he's drinking, and he's talking eagerly about me moving back down. He's always seemed excited about living together, but I love my own space, and I haven't missed him since he left. I've been debating leaving him when he gets back on his feet, but he's been in my life for almost 12 years, and I don't know if I can do that to him. To sum up my confusion, he seemed happy enough with our relationship when he stopped having sex with me, so I don't know if I can blame it on his mood. He's also assured me that my scar doesn't bother him, and he's the one pushing for us to live together, so I assume he's still into me. We trust each other fully. We wouldn't still be together if we didn't, so I know he's not cheating. Maybe he's just generally not interested in sex. I don't even know what my question is anymore. What's your favourite sausage? Anything you're cooking, Samantha, if you know what I mean. Look, maybe he's just not interested in sex. Like, it sounds like you guys did the long distance things for years and years and years, and he's just accustomed to not having sex with you. Like that, like you said you were long distance for 9 years. So really, when you think about it, your whole the vast majority of your relationship, you guys have just not been having sex. Like that's what your relationship was built on, was, you know, having a good relationship without sex, because it was impossible. And now it is possible. You guys are living together, and maybe he's just not interested in that, and you didn't really know that because that was not even an option. Maybe he's just that type of person. It also sounds like he feels shit about his own body because he's lost weight and then put it all back on. And if he's going through depression and shit, that would also make a huge difference. I mean, I would think back to when you were talking about before you guys moved to England, were you having sex at all then? If you were, then, and then it changed once he lost his job and put on weight and got a bit depressed, that would probably be the reason why. But if you guys weren't having sex before you moved, maybe he's just that kind of guy. Maybe he's just doesn't have much of a sex drive at all. I mean, it's super unusual, but people like that do exist. I would just talk to him. Sounds like you're not having that conversation. It doesn't sound like you've been like, hey, are you just not interested in sex with anybody at any time, or what's going on? And yeah, it sounds like he's dealing with a lot of issues with his own personal life. I don't really know what to tell you, Samantha. It sounds like it's like a massive fucking part of your life, your relationship with him. But it also sounds like you are already starting to move on. If you require certain things from him that he is just not the type of person to be into, and you've only really found that out once you've been in a position to ask for them. Because if you're somebody who needs that, and now he can actually give that to you, but he doesn't want to, maybe he's not right for you. I would suggest probably waiting it out a little bit longer, because he's gotten a job. It sounds like he's getting happier, but don't wait without talking to him or taking any action. You need to talk to this guy, and you need to explain your problems to him. Like, hey, we're not having sex. Also, you seem really sad. You're obviously unhappy with your body, and you're drinking too much. How can I help you fix these things? And I would try and help him work through these things, but that only works if he wants to go through them. Do you know what I mean? So if you have these conversations with him, but he's super unwilling to fix any of these issues, then it might be time for you to move on. You know, if he's the type of person where he just doesn't want to have sex at all, and also he's not going to fix his drinking, he's not going to go to gym, and he's not going to help himself through this depression that he's going through, there's only so much you can do. Like you as a girlfriend, it is your duty to help him through these problems. But if he's not going to help himself, and it's hindering your own life and causing a negative impact on your own life, and it doesn't look like it's like a short-term 6-month thing. Like 6 months sounds like a long time, but you guys have been together for 12 years, so relatively that's not really a long time. If it doesn't look like it's something that he's going to work towards fixing in the next 6 months, like not fix the problem in 6 months, but get to a position where both of you are working on the problems in 6 months, I might walk, to be honest. And my favorite type of sausage is... dude, what's my favorite type of sausage? I used to work at a butcher, and they used to make these fucking awesome chicken and garlic aioli sausages. They were amazing. And they were, you know what? Polish sausages are amazing too. I worked at this really crazy European delicatessen type butcher, and they made some great sausages. So yeah, Samantha, if it doesn't look like this guy is going to fix his life problems, and you feel like you need to move on, once you do that, cook me up some Polish sausages and send me an email. No, I'm kidding. I hope you guys work out your issues, but yeah, I'm a strong believer in you need to be your own priority. And if somebody else is hindering your own life in a major way, and it looks like they're unwilling to fix the problem, I always think that if a problem looks like it's going to take a long time to fix, it's probably worth fixing, and it's worth waiting a long time to fix it. But if it looks like you're going to have to wait a long time before that person is even willing to address the problem at all, that's an entirely different situation. So I would have those conversations with him, Samantha, and explain all the issues that you have and all the issues that you think he has. And if he's totally unwilling to talk about them or work on any of them, even like baby steps things, it might be time to reevaluate whether that relationship is going to make you happy, because it sounds like it might just be a problem that could never go away. And potentially you're only finding about it now because you guys have just kind of stopped doing the long distance thing. So I don't know. It might just be something to do with him that you didn't even know about until you actually started seeing each other in real life. So, best of luck with that issue, Samantha. I hope you guys sort it out. And George, the other dude who emailed in. That's the end of this podcast. Oh, also, actually, I forgot to mention, I'm an ambassador for a charity now. Fucking surprise. Whoever thought I would do that? This charity called Live Below the Line emailed me out of the blue. They sent me an email, and the girl who wanted me to come on board as an ambassador is clearly a fan of my content. She referenced a whole bunch of stuff from the podcast. So that's how I knew these guys were at least kind of cool if they were letting this girl send me fucking shitty podcast memes about killing herself in the pitch to get me on board. Basically, Live Below the Line, it's this charity where you eat for $2 a day, so you survive on $2 a day as if you were living in poverty. You do that for 5 days, and for those 5 days, you encourage people to raise money for this cause to educate people to fight poverty, blah, 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 all that kind of fucking bullshit. It's all on their website. It's Live Below the Line. I did a whole bunch of research into where the money actually goes, because I do know a lot of charities out there. They say they do a lot, but in reality, only about 2% of the money they get given actually goes towards fixing the fucking issue. Like, you guys should look up the Pink Ribbon, that Pink Ribbon cancer research thing done by the the NFL in America. They for about a whole month they go pink, and they donate only about 8%. Well, 8% of the money that's raised by the NFL is actually used for breast cancer research, like a tiny portion of that. But I looked up this Live Below the Line thing, and they're very transparent. It looks like it's about over 50% is actually used and sent to groups that help poverty and help educate people. So, roughly off the top of my head, I don't remember it exactly, but it was something like 21% of their money is used to pay rent, pay employees, pay things like that, like the actual running of the business. And then something like 23 or 28% is used for marketing, so fundraising marketing. And then the rest of it is actually used to fucking help people. So I think that's pretty... I imagine from all of the other charities that I have looked up, over 50% of the money that you raise going to the actual cause is pretty standard and a pretty great thing. So, because, you got to spend money to make money. So, Live Below the Line, it's a great cause. I'm an ambassador on there. If you search, look, the link is a little bit hard, but if you search Live Below the Line Lewis Spears, you'll be able to find my profile. If you want to donate money to my fundraising campaign with them, that'd be great if you want to help. And if you want to read more about what they're actually doing, it's a whole bunch of shit about educating kids in Cambodia. I read up about it. It is good, but I'm not going to fucking explain it on the podcast because it's pretty boring. So if you want to check that out, Google Live Below the Line Lewis Spears. You're about to donate to my fundraising campaign. I'd like to raise a bit of money. I've never done that before. I've never been an ambassador for anything, any kind of product or anything. So I figured the first thing to raise would be great. The first actual company I've thrown my support behind is a charity that's actually doing some good work. And oh fuck, I've already raised some money. I just put it on Instagram like an hour ago. Already raised some money. So yeah, if you want to chuck some more money behind there, I'd like to raise at least a couple $100 for these guys because they've been pretty nice to me. And you know what? It's probably a good thing to do. Now that the tour is coming to the close, I should use my fucking influence, I guess, for something positive. And then before I go back to fucking destroying self-esteem and ruining lives, shouldn't I? So yeah, help some Cambodian kids go to school. Check out Live Below the Line Lewis Spears. Or just support me on Patreon. Do whatever the fuck you want, guys. Alright, that's the end of the podcast. I'll speak to you next Sunday. Have a shit one.